Hello from Road Racing DP here again. If you were just watching the video of me trying to do the time trial challenge, I finished the Mercedes run and the game crashed. I got an error message, the broadcast stopped. So if you were watching, I do apologise about that. I have no idea what happened, and no, I didn't mess it up and exit the game by mistake. I did just get an error message come up, which was very frustrating. But there we go. So we're going to continue on with the time trial challenge then. So I've driven the Gumpert Apollo, and I didn't get on very well around Donington Park GP in the Gumpert Apollo. I may have to try the Ariel Atom, but I've got a feeling that'll be even worse. We've been in the touring car, and we've got a hell of a lot of time to find around there, but I've got a feeling that I see the Mercedes-Benz AMG Coupe. That's going to be a special edition car, isn't it? Which means that I'm not going to be able to get anywhere bloody near them, more than likely. Which, if that's the case, is very frustrating. That is frustrating. Says I have no entry on the leaderboard, and that's probably because it just crashed. Let's scroll down. See, everyone's in the Mercedes AMG C Coupe, which must be the limited edition car. See, now I'm looking here, a 36.3 for the top Mercedes-Benz Evolution, and I was in the, was it 30? I know I got into the 37, so we'll have to have another look at that one in a little while. But that's annoying if there is classes where the limited edition cars are just so much faster, because I'll have no chance of doing it because I haven't got the limited edition unless I buy the game again, and I don't really fancy doing that. Okay then, so GT cars then. The Pagani Zonda is the better car here. So I'll find that. Pagani Zonda R. Let's find ourselves a decent colour scheme. Not that I can see much of it at the moment. Okay, now if you are watching this video and you've not seen the first part, basically what I'm trying to do here is a time trial challenge around Donington Park GP, giving myself 10 laps and that is it, and seeing how I do. My aim is to try and top the leaderboards, which I'm probably not going to be able to do, especially not within 10 laps in a lot of cars that I've not really driven much. But we'll see how we get on anyway. What I'm probably going to do is do the 10 laps, go through a lot of the car classes, or as many as I can get through, and then at a later stage I will look at doing more and more laps at the tracks, and perhaps if I manage to succeed in my challenge, put the hot laps up there. But I'm absolutely gutted now though. The Gumpert Apollo drove absolutely terribly. And in the touring class, the limited edition car is 10 times faster than the Mercedes. So double whammy of disappointment there. So let's see how we get on with the Zonda. I do know that this car is a bit of a beast. I haven't driven this car around this track, so I've absolutely no idea how it's going to handle. But we will soon find out. And once again, I didn't look at the times that were on the list that I need to beat. Oh dear, that's not going well. Okay, this view may be a bit tricky to use when the sun's in my eyes. I'll move the camera forward. No, that's a shame. When you are actually on cockpit view or helmet view, you can move your seat forward if you change your buttons to allow you to do so. Now in the LMP1 cars, I love this view for those. I do like this view, but in this Zonda, whoa, that view's not going to work, is it? So what view was that then? Now for the views, you got a bumper view, bonnet view. That's supposed to be cockpit view. So I have no idea why that was doing what it was doing, but here you can see that you can move your chair, so you can get a bit more of a view of what's going on in front of you. You can do the same in helmet cam view. But I'm going to go to bonnet view. It does tend to be my default view for the tin top cars. In the open wheelers, I will tend to use the helmet cam. It is very, very good. And the brakes are very tricky on this car. And I'm remembering as well, I have done a time trial in this car at another track, and the front end is very, very lazy. It doesn't help if the fronts are locked up. It's very lazy, it's just washing wide all the way down the Craner curves. Okay then, so 10 laps. We'll see what time we can get. But the confidence has been dented by the previous two cars. There's a couple of reasons for doing this. One, just for the fun of it. Two, you get to see a car from each of the classes going around the same track, so you may be able to see the different handling characteristics of the cars, because the handling characteristics are very, very different from car to car, even cars in the same class. In cars in the same class, some tend to be faster in a straight line, others handle better. It's going to take me a few laps to get dialed in on the brakes and the steering in this car, because it is very, very lazy on the steering. That's not going to go well. Ah, damn it. Now, if you were watching the live feed before and you've rejoined, apologies for it just suddenly stopping. It wasn't my fault. I got an error message come up which basically closed the game and stopped the broadcast. That was close. Something people may find when using a wheel on this game, there is a lot of wheel movement required. You may end up with a few blisters on your thumbs. I'm very, very close to getting one myself. You do have to use a lot more steering movement than you do on something like F1. GT does have a lot of a requirement for hand movement, but this seems a bit more so, especially on stock setups on the cars. Now, although this Zonda doesn't handle as sweetly as I would like it to, or as planted as I would like it to, it's still a fairly nice car to drive. It's got a fairly fantastic sound that comes from it. Need to get a bit tighter in on the apex of turn 1. Late on the throttle there, fear of it drifting wide. Oh, that's going to cancel the lap. That's frustrating. I was going to say, this car doesn't feel like it's as tricky when you go down the gears. If you go down way too soon, it is. And I had someone watching me the other day and I had the telemetry screen up when I was driving the Rough GT3, and they couldn't work out how I was able to go down the gears so quick without locking up the rear. And there's a simple explanation of some of the cars you can really thrash it down the gears, and the Rough GT3 is one of them, and there's a lot of them where you just really can't. You have to be much more patient. That though is not patience, that's just becoming frustrating. Okay, so we've got 3 or 4 laps after this one to try and improve on the time. I've seen that I was on a quicker lap until I messed it up. Admittedly, I usually do drive better when I'm not talking, but I don't want to sit here in silence as the car goes around. Although it does mean I'm more likely to make mistakes. Now, if it happens that nobody actually is watching this live feed, I don't mind, because the main reason I'm doing it on Twitch is so that I can record for longer than the PS4 allows you to, so I can get it up onto YouTube, or I can decide whether it's worth putting up onto YouTube. But it is a little frustrating that, I mean, on the PS4, I think it's brilliant that you can record your own gameplay, but why is it limited to 15 minutes? I mean, personally, that's something I just don't quite understand. I mean, I don't play that many games, but it isn't even long enough to record a whole game on FIFA, including half-time, people pressing pause and the ball going out of play. And it's definitely not long enough really to record any sort of decent length of race. If you're on Battlefield or COD, games last longer than 15 minutes. Unless they've done it so that people do actively use Twitch and Ustream. I've never used Ustream myself, and I'm still fairly new to Twitch. I've only been using it for a week. And I was told that Ustream is basically just a shitter version of Twitch. So I don't think I'll even bother giving that one a try. Oh, wide on exit. Come on, go, go, go. on, get it tucked in. Go, 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 go. It's not going to make it. Oh, that was close. If I hadn't have gone down the extra gear, then it would not have stayed on the road. Nice little power slide there. Okay, then 2 laps left to improve on the time. Oh, that's not going to help. Oh, locked it up. So not going to get anywhere near the apex. That's this lap pretty much gone, unless I have a spectacular section down here, which I'm not. The harder I'm pushing, the more the front end is struggling. This is where I'd probably be better off not pushing. An old trick of mine, slower to go faster. Well, I say old trick of mine. It's a very old trick for many racing drivers. Very twitchy on the exit there. Okay, you need a good exit out of this corner. And that's not a bad one. Now I need to hit the apex of turn 1. Not bad. Come on, get around, it's not going to make it, core. It does not want to get tucked into the apex of that corner. We're not up on the time. That's pretty much the lap gone. I will complete it though, unless I bin it here. Ooh, sliding. I don't mind it if a car slides as long as it's controllable. It's when the cars are sliding and it's really not controllable. I figured seeing as this lap's gone, try that chicane in 3rd gear. It was a little bit twitchy, but just about doable. So we're not going to improve on the lap time here. Nope. So 125.511 or 512 it says there. So that's what I've got out of the Zonda R. I don't want to restart the session. I want to exit. So we're going to have a quick look at the timing screen, see if that's any good. I don't think it is good enough to get onto the first page. I only really got 1 or 2 semi-decent laps in there. A big step up in difference though from the touring cars to that Zonda. Oh no, 25.12. I will be in 14th place on that, so I've got a couple of seconds to find in many more laps. I may just be able to do it. We shall have to wait and see. Let's see if it's put my lap time on there. Like I say, the AMGC Coupe DTM must be the a limited edition free car, because it's not on my list. So I'm currently in 94th. That time can definitely be improved on in that car. I may have to try one of the other cars, but I ain't going to get anywhere close to not going to get anywhere close to the limited edition car times. Okay, so next on the list is stock cars. So American NASCAR. This is going to be a bit tricky. Okay, let's just go and have a blast. Let's see what we can do, shall we? I've only driven these NASCARs once, and that was around Watkins Glen. Took me a few laps to get into driving that car, with them only having 4 gears and very sort of long 4 gears as well. Excuse me, it's a very unusual way of driving the car that needs to be done. I did find at Watkins Glen, excuse me, it was better to leave the car in a higher gear at times, but around this track I have no idea what it's going to do, so let's go and find out. Obviously, with this being a NASCAR, the steering is going to be quite lazy, I reckon. I don't think the brakes are going to be any good either. But the lap times was in the 130s. Whoa, whoa. And if it has moments like that on me, we may struggle to get close to that time, but there we go. Something I will say as well about in time trial, damage is effective in time trial. You can go off and go through the gravel and cause damage to your car. That will affect what lap times you're going to be able to get. Now I am just cruising it a bit for this first lap. Try and go back to my usual rule of slowly build up to speed around a track, working out what the car is capable of and what it's not. Although according to the tyre temperatures it would seem I'm taking it too easy. The brakes actually feel surprisingly good. I was expecting big lockups, and there are no lockups at all. Hard on the brakes. Okay, we're going to have to pick the speed up then to try and get tyre temperature in. And the steering on this, it's a bit like driving a dump truck. I mean, you turn the wheel, not a lot seems to happen. Turn it more and then loads seems to happen. Very sort of floaty, this car. Okay, so we're on lap 2 then, so we've got 8 more laps to try and get a lap time in. And a bit like the Zonda, I've not actually driven this car around this track. I have only driven it the once at a different track. Need to get some temperature into that front right tyre and the front left tyre. Oh, get into the apex, that's better. No, that's where the steering sort of like doesn't seem to do a lot, and then at the last moment seems to do loads. So I will try and pick up speed through the laps, just trying to get used to what the car can and can't do. Oh, that's too much curb. It's almost like there's a big steering dead zone on this car, which could be true. I'm not sure if real life NAS cars do have a big steering dead zone on them. The car's getting all flighty on me. It's a very tricky car to try and push around here, because it's almost like the front end's not connected to the rear. The brakes are surprisingly better than I was expecting. I mean, obviously these cars are made more for oval racing than track racing, although they do race them on tracks. The thing is, the sound of this car as well always makes you feel like you're going very, very slow, because the gears are so long, and as I proved there, you've got to be careful trying to get the revs to sound a lot higher, because it's very easy to just lose the car. Okay, let's see if we can try and push it a little more, try and be a bit more aggressive. Because people might find on this as well that they may just find that one class of car, or one or two classes of cars, or just a couple of certain cars they seem to get on with very, very well, and then other classes or other cars they just really don't. But I like that anyway, because it shows a big variation of the types of cars on the game. Okay, you can't like tune them up or anything like that. You don't have to earn them or buy them. They are just there to use. But there is such a variation in the driving styles of the cars that there's plenty to keep you entertained, or plenty to keep you frustrated because you keep spinning a car. annoyingly, that felt like quite a good lap, but it's not. I'm taking it too easy around this first corner. If you're down on sector 1, it's very difficult to gain the time back on the rest of the track. Abusing the limiter in second gear around there. I am going to have to give it a try in third gear. As I say, at Watkins Glen, I did find at some corners it was better to keep it in a higher gear. Problem is, if you're having to slow down too much, the higher gear doesn't help you with turning or acceleration on the exit of the corner. It's a shame that I was actually up on that lap then. Not by a lot, but I was up. Third gear through the chicane. It can handle that, so we're going to have to try doing that, see if it can help improve the lap time. It did not like second gear there. There wasn't a lot of revs on either. Well, I'm not sure if anyone's ever actually driven a NASCAR around Donington Park. But if they have, I can imagine it was a lot like this. Things with this car, everything does appear quite slow, but the speeds are there. It just sounds so slow and lazy. It actually looks slow as well. And admittedly, on this view you can't see all of the steering inputs I'm having to do. Trust me, there's a lot. The car is very floaty, also very twitchy. The steering's very unresponsive and then very responsive. And oddly enough, the best thing about this car is what I thought would be the worst, and that's the brakes. The brakes are actually very, very good. It is a shame though, well, it's not a shame, it's bloody annoying that you can't edit the setup in time trial. So be able to make this car just be a bit more stable on the steering, which would allow me to be much more aggressive through the corners. It's weird though, these laps seem to be, it feels like these laps are taking a lot longer than they were in the Zonda. The Zonda was only 6 seconds a lap quicker. Okay, to say only, it was 6 seconds a lap quicker. But this just, it feels like it's taking forever to get through these 10 laps. So I'm going to try and stick to that, just doing the 10 laps only. We'll just see how we get on. It's all part of the challenge that I am setting for myself. 10 laps in a car, see what you get. I can work on it more at a later stage. Just second gear around the last corner. With a better turn in, it might work. a better line through turn 1, but didn't take it as fast as I would like to. Okay, NASCARs can drift. Having to do a lot of little adjustments on the steering just to keep this car going around the corner. Come on, get round, get round. Well, this is going to be my best lap so far. So one left to do. I know the lap time I've done there is not good enough to get to the top of the leaderboard, but I think it should be on the first page. So this will be the last lap in the NASCAR then, thank God. I mean, it isn't that slow a car, but it just does feel very, very slow, very, very boring. Which is odd, because I know on GT I really like the NASCARs on there, even on tracks, race tracks, not just ovals. But this is quite different. I'm half a second down on this lap, that's not good. Okay, the lap is gone, so let's have some fun. So it does have the power to spin it round, as you've just seen. And if you can do donuts to get your tyres warm, it does work very, very well. Okay then, so a 132.0, best lap I could get done there within those 10 laps in the NASCAR. Now it won't bring my name up on the list yet, but we can have a look at where that might put me, and we can check whether it's put the time up for the previous run in the Zonda. Now if you do hear some strange noises that sounds like I'm breathing on an oxygen tube, I'm not, I'll be smoking. Right, okay, so 132.0 I got will put me into 6th place. Okay, it's not top, and 1.7 seconds to find, but within 10 laps, getting that lap time, I'm happy with that. If I was to do many more laps, I reckon I could knock quite a chunk of time off that. So I'm not going to complain about that, especially when I get to go into a much faster car next. Right, okay, so the GTs in the Zondas, it hasn't put my time on yet. Oh no, it has. Okay, I'm in 21st. Right, okay, well, I'm going to have to try that again at some point. Bloody annoying, 21st. Ah, there's a lot in the 25s. Okay, if I can drop half a second, that'd get me onto the page. Oh yeah, I am literally 1/10 off that particular page there. Right, okay, next class of car then, prototypes. Oh, that's the LMPs. Now you may see that I've already done a run in these cars around here. it's a shame. Okay, it's got prototypes there, but really it should have prototype LMP1 and LMP2, because they're two different classes of car, and you're never going to get to the top of the timing screen in an LMP2. But if there was an LMP2 list, that'd be pretty cool. And it's going to be the same for the open wheel. It's all Formula A's. It should have a Formula A, Formula B, Formula C, Formula D, or it's not Formula D, it's Formula Golf, and Formula Rookie. Okay then, so prototypes it is that's next. So I've previously done a 16.2, and I did only do I think it was 8 or 9 laps on that one. So the aim here then is to beat that. If I can get into the 15s, I'll move up one place. If I can get into the 14s, I may be slightly surprised. But we'll see what we can do. Now, which one is it? It's that one, isn't it? Well, the Marek is currently on top, so let's give that one a try. I don't think I've actually driven the Marek much. Let's try and find ourselves an interesting livery. Yeah, that one will do. For anyone that's just joining the time trial, what I'm doing here, basically I've set myself a time trial challenge, which is to try and top the timing screens at Donington Park. I'm only giving myself 10 laps in each class of car to put a time in. I've already done the road cars. I went with the Gumper and it went horribly wrong. That car is an animal. I couldn't get on. Within the few laps that I had, I just couldn't get on with it. So the lap time in there was terrible. That knocked the confidence. I then went into the touring class and realised that the car that's been used to top the timing list for about the top 80 places is a limited edition car, which I don't have, so I've got no hope in hell of topping that timing screen. I don't think, not unless I can get the Sierra Cosworth to drive around here very well. I may have a look at that a little later on. We then went into the GT class, which was using the Zonda R, and put a fairly decent time in, but could improve on it. Then the NASCARs, which you may have just seen, should be about 5th, 6th place on that one. And now we're into the prototypes, the LMP ones. These are my favourite cars on the game. I really like these cars. I find they handle so much better than the Formula A's. I even prefer the Formula B's and C's to the Formula A's. I find the Formula A's very tricky to get on with. But something interesting for these Le Mans cars, at least I know with the other one, this one should be the same. You do kind of get a KERS usage. I can't really see much there. How do they drive these cars at 200 odd mile an hour? Yeah, your KERS usage is automatic in the LMPs. Charges back up when you're on the brakes. The more you brake, the longer you brake, the more it charges, or the harder you brake. Excuse me. And it will only activate the KERS when you go full throttle. So for doing something like this for time trial, you have to be kind of really smart about where you use full throttle. Now when I did my first run around here, put in the lap time in that we've already seen, I didn't realise how the KERS system worked. I realised it when I watched the replay. So this time I'm going to try and be clever with the KERS usage. I mean, down here I'm not flat out because I don't want to use up the power, and now I've banged the brakes on, I've now got full boost, and the reason for that is I want full boost down the start finish. The question will be whether it's going to be worth not going full throttle around some of the track to use full boost at the faster parts or not, and whether it'll give a faster lap time. It's going to be tricky to keep an eye on that, but let's drive and see how we get on. Too much curb there. Oh, big slide on there. See, now we're on the big straight, but hardly any boost left. Ah, no, you swine. Really, I should have backed off there so I can get the boost down the start finish. I can imagine in long races, your boost usage could drive you mental. So now all out of boost down the hill. Just about saved that then. It's interesting, I didn't go up the extra gear on the way towards that corner. I took the corner in the same gear as I usually would, but I think because I didn't go up the gear beforehand, it made it too aggressive for the car to handle. Oh, that was too much curb. Now with these massive bloody wheel arches, it is a little tricky to see some of the apexes, but corners never move. Oh, not a lot of boost to start this lap. I was able to be much more aggressive on my downshifts then, just because I did an additional upshift. Very interesting. I had that theory when I was playing this a couple of nights ago. I mean, you'd think it wouldn't make any difference whatsoever, but it does appear to be. As well, I'm using this view because I love this view, but to be honest I could probably go quicker if I used a different view, so I may change view in a few laps time. So I'm going to have a back off lap here just to try and get my boost recharged. Now this is what makes me think in long races in these, it could make a big difference to how quick you are lapping with how the boost is used. Also, if you are doing very, very long races, not being full throttle will help with fuel economy. It's finding that fine line of how much throttle can you use without using the boost. How much time do you lose compared to being full throttle and using up all your boost? Now, I'm not going to try going and finding all that out. I just want to try and put quick lap times in. But that could be something to look at a later date. Too slow around that corner. That's felt like it had cost me. Ooh, now that is what you call a shit yourself moment. I don't know. I take it easy, load me boost, and then totally ruin their lap. Alright, let's go again. Much better line through turn 1. Much better line through old hairpin. Bit wide. Not bad. Come on, keep it going. Don't spin. Oh, that's cost me. The thing is, I was massively up on that lap compared to previous, but I don't know how it is compared to my previous best. Fairly sure that was in the 15s, but I could be wrong. Taking a lot of concentration. It's very difficult when that sun's in your eyes as well. Go on, that's quick through there, come on. Decided to try second gear through the hairpin. Don't know if that was quicker or not. Wide, no, come on, go, go, go. Tried third gear for turn 1, big wiggle. felt so much faster through Old Hairpin then, but I'd lost so much time in turn 1. I don't know if I actually gained through the Old Hairpin. Now I'm losing more time now, pushing hard. Okay, let's get the boost back. 1 lap to go then. One of the things I like about these cars is when you're really on the limit, like when I was pushing it then, you can really feel when you've got it right. Really feel it. You can feel the grip that's on the road. And it just gives you so much confidence. Compare that to the Gumpert Apollo. That leaves you with no confidence whatsoever. Okay, last lap then means probably going to mess it up. Not quick enough, or at least I didn't feel it. Looking at the sector time, it's up. Oh, go on, go, no, you're going to cancel the lap, you bitch. Oh, well, let's keep going and see what I'll get anyway. Way too wide. Oh, that's binned it. See, sometimes pushing hard is not the best way to do it. Tell you what I'm tempted to do now though. I know I said I'm only going to do 10 laps in each car. I was going to try doing 1 lap in this view, which is my usual sort of stock view. See if I can improve. I mean, I do love the in-car views on this game, and there's none of this crap that you would get on GT either, where only some of the cars had an interior. Okay, I haven't got full boost, but let's see what we can do. Very different driving on this view here. Whoa, very different. Even validated my lap already. Oh, Steward round here is a bit harsh. Found it much easier to get turned into that corner. And that one, although going wide. Save it, save it. Ooh. Alright, I'm going for one more. I just like this car too bloody much. Right. Oh, tried third gear again. He doesn't like it for turn 1. Getting your gears right for the amount of speed you're carrying is going to make all the difference. Whoa, big drift. Although that was more of a gonna crash rather than, oh look, drifted. I'll tell you what, I've been a Formula 1 fan for years and years. and I've watched the Le Mans a few times on TV, usually fall asleep for a good 8 hours of it. But on this game, it's making me a big fan of the Le Mans cars. I mean, this car is just so drivable, so enjoyable to drive. And you'll see what the Formula A is like when I'm driving it in a moment, because that's what's up next. Now, I don't think I've actually improved on my lap time there, but if not, oh well. I mean, I don't mind if I haven't improved on my lap time. That car is just... I think I'll probably take that car anywhere and enjoy driving it, unless it's raining, and it's bloody horrible. Okay. I think I improved a couple of tenths. Either that or I was way down. Ah, well. Shame if it was. Oh, I just realised. 5th place, Sutil 69. Don't be afraid of checking out his YouTube videos. Pretty good. GT5 King talks about him, or used to talk about him quite a lot. If I remember rightly, at one point he even said he stole your idea, Dave, of doing F1 tracks the wrong way round. Which, if you've never done it, you should do it, because some of them are absolutely awesome the wrong way. America is one of them. Absolutely brilliant the wrong way round. Okay, Formula A's. I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to this. Not looking forward to this at all. I have done a few laps around here in this car, and it is so tricky and twitchy, and it kind of reminds me a bit of how the Ferrari F1 cars drove on GT5. And I never really got on with them until I really played about with the setups. Now, I have been sent 2 pages of setup info for this car and for all of the other cars, but once again, in time trial, you can't do any setup changes. But you can use DRS everywhere. And you can use curves as much as you like until it runs out anyway. Right, it's going to take me a couple of laps to get into the rhythm of this car, because it is so different to the LMP. So twitchy. Now, something I've been trying to do with this Formula A is closing the DRS manually instead of letting the brake do it, in the hope that it makes the car more stable under braking. I'm going to try DRS open down here. It is the quicker way, but this kink, you have to be so careful on the steering through that kink, and this kink up here if you have the DRS open. And there's an example of the twitchiness of this car. Is while I'm driving around, I am trying a couple of different things to try and drive around that problem. One of them being brake much harder. Make sure it's in the right gear at the right speed, because it could just be a simple case of that's what the problem is. And make sure you're off the brakes for the corners Now, I used to like trail braking on F1 2014, which means you basically still on the brakes a little bit as you're heading towards the apex of the corner. But this does feel so much different. You have to make sure that off the brakes this ain't going to work. You're going to have to close DRS. Just got no steering round down the hill there. The difference compared to the LMP is unreal. The LMP has grip, steering, brilliant brakes, and this seems to have a piss you off-ometer on it, because it can quite easily get to the point of extreme frustration in this car. See, that spin there, I was on the brakes a tiny amount still, and around she goes. Now, I have played about with the setup of this car in single player and multiplayer mode. Made it handle so much better than it does in time trial. Come on, can we keep it going? Yes, we can. It's not going to be quick, but just showing you can drift an F1 car. You just don't mean to. Right, let's try and focus again. Because of how slippy this car is, it's one of those cars where, for me personally, it just isn't giving me the confidence to really push it through the corners. On the brakes, steering or throttle. We're going to try though. DRS open. Oh! Well, that didn't go well, did it? I know it can be done, because I have done it. Okay, I've already done 5 laps, so really, I need to try and at least get a lap in, because I haven't done that. So I'm going to back off a little bit, not push, work my way up to the speed of the track if I can. So twitchy. Better line, come on, DRS open, yes! No, no, no. Oh. hide the frustration there. This is where if I didn't have my headset on and was live streaming, I would be shouting like mad, effing and blinding. Right, keep calm and go again. That's too wide. I might try a different tactic for down the Craner curves there. Instead of using DRS, I might just try using curves. It may just help make the car much more stable through there. Whoa! And that's a damaged car. Bloody hell. Okay, so I've only got 3 laps left then, and then that's the 10 done. And so far, I haven't put a bloody lap time in. But when the car's doing stuff like that, it's not hard to see why. Now my wheel is vibrating now, and I'm hoping it's just because of dirty tyres. If it's damage, I'm not going to get anywhere near the lap times I want. Or even not going to be able to get a lap time in. Now the issues I am having with this car, I was able... it's so frustrating. I was able to solve these silly spinning incidents by adjusting the car setup. Excuse me. It made the car so much more drivable. There's a thought. Something I haven't actually done yet on this is tried any of the assists. I'm actually half tempted after I've done these next 2 laps just to put a couple on and see what difference it makes. On that occasion, heading down the Craner curves, I closed the DRS, used the curves, and the car felt so much more stable, and the car should not be spinning there like that. That is so frustrating. have now got dirty tyres. That's that lap gone. But if you are watching this, you'll be able to see the difference of driving this compared to the LMP1. The LMP1 was, I wouldn't say easy, just had so much more grip. Okay, I'm going to go for one more lap, and then I'm going to put some assists on, just to see what difference it makes. Well, that didn't go well, so we're gonna go and do it now. Very frustrating car to drive, that, and it's annoying as well because I mean I've been racing F1 games for years, so I like to think I know what I'm doing when it comes to driving an F1 car. But I've raced a few people in this car in multiplayer lobbies, and the pad users, I mean, I'm not going to start an argument here, but the pad users seem to find this car so much easier to drive. Now, I don't know whether that's because they've got assists on and I haven't, or what, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if I'm locking the brakes up, if they've got ABS on, then they're not going to have that problem, whereas I do. Now, when it comes to assists, you have got a few different options here. You've got driving assist allowed. You can have it to all, and then them all turn to no. Or you can have it to none, which means you have none. Or you can have it to driving assist allowed real, which means if the car you're using has any assists, ABS, traction control, stability control, then you have it. So if you do want to play with no assists at all, then you do want to have it on none or all, and then set this to whichever way you want. So let's put them all on, shall we? And let's just see what happens. Okay. Now I am just going to have a quick smoke while I get warmed up for this. Then if I happen to go and top the timing screens with these set assists on, I won't be very happy. I mean, the stability control, that should stop you from spinning out unless you push the car way too much. The traction control is self-explanatory, but I tend to find it difficult to play with traction control on racing games because I'm used to, I want to control. If I press the throttle, I want it to go. If that means the back end kicks out, then so be it. At least then I can learn how much throttle I need to use, or power slide the car. ABS depends on the game. I mean, on GT I've had ABS on one, oh, that's like driving a completely different car. Okay, I've gone wide, but Easy DRS open. Come on, assist users, turn your assists off. Come and see how the big boys really drive. Or should I say how the big boys really crash. It's like driving a completely different car. It's ridiculous. See, the weird thing is though, this is what my car handles like with the car setup I've done. Feels perfectly planted as I go off. But this is what my car handles like when I've done the car setup. Got on the grass then. I was a bit too eager with the DRS there. I mean, I'm not a big fan of using assist, but if you don't like using assist and you've been driving this car and you're finding it horrible, usually I'd say stick with it, get the practice in, do it. But if you're just playing for the enjoyment of it, whack the assists on, mate. I'm messing up a bit, but that's because I'm playing about with the DRS through the old hairpin. See, instead of spinning the car, I'm now just having a wobble. Bye-bye, cone. Alright. Okay, maybe it's not bye-bye. Oh, I could do that, you've been stuck under the wheel. Steve, I don't know if I'll be on this for much longer.
You're going to need to cool the brakes, they're starting to overheat, so just try and take some of the heat out of it in some of the very slow corners. You're okay in the high speed stuff, it's just the tight corners.
Trying to concentrate a bit now. I do believe I've got some damage on the car. Yeah, the wheel is not sitting straight. Okay. the difference in handling with the assists on is, well, it has had much more of an effect than I was expecting. See there, that's the stability control. Instead of spinning out, I'm just getting a little bit of a slide. The weird thing is, I'm finding I'm not actually turning enough now. With the assists off, I was fearing turning too much because of it wanting to spin, but now I can carry so much more speed, I'm actually not turning anywhere near enough. So, that's what I'm going to try and focus on doing. Okay, it doesn't like transition from first to second at very high revs, so even though traction control is on, it is still possible to spill it from first to second. Or if you're steering too much, open the DRS and floor it. Don't really want to be over there or over there. Ah, you swine. It is, I mean, for a non-assist user, it is very, very weird feeling driving this car with the assists on. Because it does feel like I'm not fully in control. I mean, I know I said this is what my car drives like with my setup on. It does, but without the sort of mid-corner slides and little twitches where the electronics are saving me from a crash. And if you're wondering what...
Cool the brakes, cool the brakes. Your brakes are overheating.
Yeah, if you're wondering what setup changes I actually made to my own car, it was just adding some front camber, lowering the ride height, and that was it. Oh, and reducing the brake pressure to about 80%. That was it. And the car just handled beautifully. Ooh, didn't like going to second then. I think it's the assist as well, they're sort of dulling what the car is actually doing, so for someone who likes to feel exactly what's happening with the car, I'm definitely not getting that full feeling. Do not want first gear for the hairpin.
You're going to need to cool the brakes, they're starting to overheat, so just try and take some of the heat out of it in some of the very slow corners. You're okay in the high speed stuff, it's just the tight corners.
Okay. He keeps going on about that, so obviously it's a problem. Ah, turn more, Dave. Turn more. It is a much easier car to drive with the assist on, but it still doesn't quite feel right or normal. But then I have actually been able to put laps in, whereas with the assist off, the car was just wanting to spin a lot. Much better line through turn one. Can't believe you've just cancelled that lap.
Just starting to overheat, so if you can try and just take a little bit of pressure out of them, in the slower corners especially, you'll be okay.
Shouldn't have gone to second then. Okay, so DRS wide open, lots of steering, a lift off and back onto the throttle, can get the rear end out. Okay, so coming into the last couple of laps that I'm going to do, see if we can actually set a good lap. Nowhere near the bloody apex there. I'll tell you something, people moaned and complained about how the F1 cars handled on F1 2014. I tell you now, they handle better than these do. Okay, then into the last lap, which means we're probably going to mess this one up as well. Told ya. Oh well. We'll see what time we get anyway. The odd thing is, he's saying that, and it's not like I'm using the brakes a lot. Ah, well, there we go. I don't think I was actually able to improve there. I might have done by a little bit, but I don't think it was by a lot, if anything at all. I'm definitely not a big fan of the Formula A. Definitely not. Much easier to drive with assists on, but I don't want to drive with assists on. The LMP1 car is so much better. So much better. But then the Formula A car with your own setup on isn't too bad, much more drivable. Oh, there we go. Oh, I did improve. Previous was a 110.8 and I'm now was a 109.3, so I'm up to about 8th place. So maybe, but that again, like I said, that's a 1.5 second improvement just by using assist. So I am going to give that another bash at some point without the assists on and really try and knuckle down and get that lap time in. Now in the road cars, like I say, I did try taking the Gumpert round there and it was absolutely diabolical. I wonder, I'm half tempted to take the Gumpert round there with the assists on. I really don't want to use the assists. The Touring, got no chance of getting on that list because I don't have the limited edition cars. The GTs, as we saw earlier, I'm just off that list. NASCARs, I am up to 6th place on that one, 1.7 seconds off the top. I mean, it would be interesting if on here, I wonder if it tells you, if you may not be able to see my screen at the moment. No, I was just looking to see whether it tells you whether they were using assists or not, and it doesn't actually show you whether you are using assists, which is a little frustrating. Okay, prototypes, 6th place on that with a 16.2. And could get that down with more laps, and will get that down with more laps. And then again the open wheels. Tell you what, I'll tell you what, let's okay, this is going to be the last thing that I do for today. I am going to take the Ariel Atom. I haven't driven it yet. Also, I would love to I'd love to drive one of these around a racetrack in real life. And what I was actually going to do was take it with no assist. I will do, actually. I will back out, take the assists off, see how we get on. I'm not going to do the 10 laps because I want to get this last little run done within 19 minutes. Or 18 minutes. I'll just see what lap time I can get within like 5 laps. With no assists, and then whack the assists on. And then wait for the abuse off Kev 187 for turning the assists on. but this is where, if Kev is now watching, he'll post up a message giving me a load of abuse, but I don't think he is, because Sundays is usually a day with the missus. And for anyone that was watching the live stream on Friday, will probably realise he's got to do what he's told on Sundays. With the amount that she lets him race, he needs to make sure he carries on being a good man as he is to her. Right, okay, so no assists on. Let's see how this Atom handles. I've got a feeling it's going to be absolutely bloody horrible. And the reason I say that is because Kyle Perry said that the Gunput Apollo is absolutely amazing. I drove it and it's an absolute bloody handful. But then he will probably have assists on. So, but anyway, we'll see what happens here. See how we get on. I reckon it's going to be horrible on the brakes, horrible on the steering, horrible under throttle. Staying on, I've got a cable rubbing against my leg. Okay, let's find a bit of an interesting view there. Well, it was a little interesting around turn 1, but then on this view it is quite weird. But I figured I'd put it on this view because I usually like this type of view, and also it gives you a chance to see what I'm doing with the wheel, because the wheel action is quite relevant really. Oh, that was nice. Oh, okay, can't handle that corner in 3rd gear. Well, I think that'll be a 2nd gear corner. Oh, come on. Talk about slow motion spin. Now it is a bit tricky on this view to position the car exactly where I want it to. So after the next couple of laps I will change view. Come on. I don't know whether that's the view that's causing me to have these little offs or whether it's just the handling of the car. It does seem to be quite a slidey car. But trying to get the power down and it's just understeering wide. So go into first gear and the rear end wants to go round. It's not got a very grippy front end. Oh, you're gonna cancel the lap, you slag. It is interesting, you can go down the gears quite quick in this car. I mentioned earlier there's some of the cars where you can and others you can't. I mean the Formula A is one of them where you really can't. Right, I'll try a different view for just 2 more laps and then we'll go and whack the assists on, just to see how different it handles. Oh my goodness me. There's so much understeer on this car. Okay, that's interesting. Change view and I'm now having moments like I didn't before. Right, okay, well, let's go and put the assists on and let's see what happens. I don't think a 1:30 is a particularly good lap time there. I mean, I didn't really feel like I could push that car, but I would say it did feel like it handled better than the Gumpert did. Okay, gameplay. Excuse me. Right, have a quick look. So 1:30 is potentially onto the first page. What did I get before? A 1:34. Okay, so I'm 4 seconds faster in the Ariel Atom than I was in the Gumpert. But now that I've got the assists on, let's see if we go any quicker. I'll put the view back on that I was using, so that it's a fair comparison. And I am going to be only going to be doing a small handful of laps here, because I'm now up to streaming for 1 hour 53 minutes, and I can only upload a maximum of 2 hours onto YouTube. I was going to split this up into 15-minute segments, but it didn't give me enough laps really to work out how the cars were going to handle and actually put a lap in. Oh, could be so much more aggressive on the brakes. Now you may see that you may see a difference of wheel action here, steering wheel action. I'll have to wait and see. Still got bag loads of understeer, so need to brake a bit more for that first corner. Bloody hell, how I kept that on the track, I'll never know. Oh, hang on a minute, I didn't. The electronics did it for me. Although I am going to claim a little bit of ability there. Now that wasn't an intentional corner cut. I just figured I'd try seeing how deep I can go on the brakes. So that first lap just about matches what I did with no assists, and it wasn't a particularly good lap. Bit slow through there, but I'm already half second up. horribly deep there. Who likes cones anyway? Well, that's into the 29s, and you saw how bad the last corner was. So I'm already a second faster having the assists on. Definitely not a lot of grip on the front end of this car, but it is, again, it's so much more drivable with the assists on. I can now see why, if I've been racing against people that have been using the assists, why I may have struggled at times. No, that's going to cancel the lap. I was down anyway. Right. Let's see just how hard we can push it through the chicane. It's going to end up in a crash, but it was worth finding out. Definitely can't take it that quick. And one thing assist users won't be able to do is have fun drifting a car. But there we go. Anyway, so there we go. There's the aerial atom at Donington, and that brings us to the end of my time trial challenge video. Definitely gonna have to give it another go with no assists and see if we can improve those times, and I'll probably put videos up of the final laps. But anyway, if you have been watching this broadcast, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, a few different videos on there, or follow me on Twitch to get notifications of future broadcasts. Thanks for watching. I've been Front Row Racing DP. I'll see you soon.